And following the service, we'll join together inside for an oneg. No outside oneg this evening. The April showers are here. Once again, Shabbat Shalom to all of you.
Shabbat Shalom. And of course, Shabbat Shalom to all who are davening, worshiping with us through the internet, our internet angels, as well as our angels here. Tonight we're going to begin with a somber moment. This week was Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and many of you who are joining us on the internet, saw the service that we led on Erev Yom HaShoah here. It was a very moving service on Wednesday night. However, many of you may not have been here for that, and in the past, we've always acknowledged Yom HaShoah on the Friday night following Yom HaShoah. So we're just going to have a somber moment at the beginning while I light these 6 Yizkor candles representing the 6 million, and then we'll move to a celebratory mood for Shabbat. Zichronam Livarcha, may all of their memories be a blessing. And now, Lahavdil, we move to a happy occasion. Not only is it Shabbat, but it is the 60th wedding anniversary of the Lopaters, Larry and Donna Lopater. Is it today or?
It's coming Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday. So in celebration of that, we have asked them to honor us by lighting the Shabbat candles and making Kiddush with us. And you can find the candle lighting on page 121. 120 and 121.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Do you want to choose one of these? Yes. But speak into the microphone, please.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Ma?
And now we have Kiddush, and Larry will do the Borei Pri Hagafen, and then we'll continue together on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagofeh.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Yes. Let me give you a blessing, though, before you leave for your 60th wedding anniversary. First of all, before I give you a blessing, will you bless us all with a little bit of words of wisdom? How did you maintain this for 60 years?
Patience. The first word is patience. And then when that sort of runs out, just remember the reason you married him in the first place. And that's about it.
Selective memory. Remember the good times, forget the bad.
Aw, that's sweet. Very sweet. Okay. Okay, so Misha Beirach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May the Holy One of blessing have blessed all our ancestors. Bless you, Donna and Larry, who have come up today in honor of God, in honor of Torah, in honor of Shabbat, and in honor of 6 decades of love in your marriage. May you be blessed with many more. May you both have good health and healing from anything that ails you. Good health, long lives filled with joy and peace and love in your home, and success in all of your labors, along with all of your family and friends and the entire house of Israel. And let us all say, Amen. Yesher koach. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Aww. Oh, very nice. Very sweet. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to turn to page 138, and we're going to do an abbreviated Lecha Dodi tonight. This one doesn't have all the verses, but after the Lecha Dodi, we will go into the Baruch Hu. So, page 138, Lecha Dodi. Yes, Mazel Tov. continue on page 149, at the top of the page, please read with me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Varavim. On page 150, we continue with singing Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha For Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please take a seat as we continue on page 154 as we chant the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. On the bottom of page 157, let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea, the Mi Chamocha, page 158. On page 161 at the bottom, we read together the Hashkivenu in the English translation, thinking, of course, of all of those in the world who are currently in need of God's sheltering presence. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. On page 163, we have this kavanah, this thought to think before we enter our tefillah. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. We will begin together on page 164, continuing on the even-numbered pages until 170 in the Hebrew, at which point we're going to go into a time of silent prayer and meditation. Please be seated when you are finished with your own silent prayers. We rise together on page 164 for the Tefillah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Ata Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bagevurot Umidom Elach Melech Memit Umachayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua B'ne'emanat al hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukdoshim b'cho yom yahalalucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
heart within me. Let my soul wake up in your light. Open me to your presence. Flood me with your Holy Spirit. Then I will stand and sing out the power of your forgiveness. I will teach your love to the lonely. The lost will find their way home. Adonai, open up my lips, and my mouth will declare your praise. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, Yahko Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, Yahko Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, Yahko Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. We now come to our Torah service. Tonight we are reading a little bit of Torah, and we turn to page 362 and rise as the ark is opened for the Torah service. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. just because I don't want you to have to sit down and get right back up again, because I'm going to call all of us to an aliyah. And if you want to follow in the book, the Plaut commentary, to see where we are in Parshat Acharemot for the second week. So this is a bit confusing this time of year. So last week, what would have been the 8th day of Pesach was on Shabbat. As Reform Jews, we don't celebrate the 8th day of Pesach, or some do, some don't, but many do not. And this congregation's minhag is not to. So we don't do the special reading that Jews who do celebrate the 8th day of Pesach would have read last week. Instead, we go to the next parsha, which is Acharemot. So we do Acharemot for 2 weeks, and so therefore we catch up this week with the rest of Jews all throughout the world who are also doing Acharemot, and we'll do Kiddushim next week, if that makes sense. Okay, so Parshat Acharemot, I'm not beginning at the beginning of the parsha. I'm going to begin on chapter 18, which is on page 885 in the Plaut commentary, if you would like to follow along. So, Ya'amdu, please stand up, anyone who wishes to do so for this aliyah. And we say the bracha, Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach, Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch ata Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. Vadaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, v'amarta alehem, ani Adonai Elohechem. K'ma'aseh eretz Mitzrayim, asher yashavtem ba, lo ta'aseh, V'cha ma'aseh eretz Canaan, asher ani mevi etchem shama, lo ta'asu, uvechukotehem lo telechu, et mishpotai ta'asu ve'et chukotai tishmoru, lalechet bahem, ani Adonai Elohechem, ushmartem et chukotai ve'et mishpotai, asher ya'aseh otam ha'adam v'chai bahem, Ani Adonai. And I'll read the translation in the Plaut. Oops. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, I am Adonai your God. You shall not copy the practices of the land of Egypt where you dwelt, or of the land of Canaan to which I am taking you, nor shall you follow their laws. My rules alone shall you observe, and faithfully follow my laws. I, Adonai, am your God. You shall keep my laws and my rules, by the pursuit of which man and woman shall live. I am Adonai. None of you shall come near anyone of your own flesh to uncover nakedness. I am Adonai. Oh, we didn't go that far, but that's the next part. A little teaser if you want to keep reading. Okay, so now the closing bracha. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. Misha be'erach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May the Holy One who blessed all our ancestors bless all of us who have come up today in honor of God, in honor of Torah, in honor of Shabbat, and in honor of our commitment to our Jewish community. May the Holy One of blessing grant all of us good, healthy, long lives filled with health and safety and peace and love and joy and all good things and many simchas in our homes, along with all of our family and friends, and along with the entire house of Israel. And let us all say, Amen. Please take a seat. Thank you so much. It is our minhag, our custom here at Temple Sinai, to do a blessing for healing at this time. a Mishaberach for healing. And at this time, I will place the names of those we know of who are in need of healing upon the sacred Torah scroll. And I'll be looking at those names as my prayer as we sing the Mishaberach in just a moment. But I'd like to ask, if you have a name or names of those you are thinking of, please say those names aloud now. Chaim Hershel ben Avram Yitzchak Razel, ben Chesed Lael, ben Aviva Batya. So for all of those whom we have named and all of those named here and all of those good people around the world in need of healing, we sing this healing Mishaberach. Eric Adams to come and lift the Torah scroll, and as he does so, please rise as we sing V'zot HaTorah. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, lai lai lai, lai 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 lai. Thank you. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Page 374, we return the Torah to the Ark. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tehila lechol chasidav livnei Thank you. Please take a seat. This past week, as I mentioned at the outset of the service, we commemorated Yom HaShoah, when we remember the evil atrocities perpetrated against the Jews of Europe by the Nazi regime. Sadly, the hatred behind these acts has not ended. This week, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, published its annual audit of anti-Semitic incidents for 2021. If you haven't read it, it's quite alarming, as it detailed the worst year on record for the US since the ADL began tracking anti-Semitic incidents since 1979. There was a 34% increase in these incidents this year, with a total of 2,717 incidents of assault, harassment, and vandalism. An average of over 7 incidents per day. Florida also saw an all-time high of incidents, with a 50% increase in 2021, totaling 190 incidents this year. These scary statistics demonstrate that we need to be ever vigilant about security in our synagogues and Jewish institutions. The ADL also recommends these 3 methods of combating anti-Semitism in its Fight Hate for Good campaign. I love that name, Fight Hate for Good. First, we must speak up and report acts of anti-Semitism and hate. The ADL has a form to do so on its website. Some people are fearful to come forward, or they just don't know if something was this a hate act, was this not a hate act? Go ahead and report it. The ADL and police can sort it out later. Secondly, we need to educate ourselves and others as to the root causes of anti-Semitism, as well as the facts of where and how it is occurring. We need to be able to communicate one community to another when these acts occur. And lastly, we need to show strength in our solidarity with one another. One way the ADL suggests to do this is to attend their annual summit on anti-Semitism and hate called Never Is Now, this year occurring in New York City on November 10th. It's a one-day conference, with some of the conference available virtually that day as well. If you go on the ADL website, it's very interesting because they have recordings of the speakers from previous years. And Sacha Baron Cohen, the actor and comedian, was a recipient of an award from the ADL in 2019. And if you've watched his movies and his comedy, a lot of it seems just completely lunacy. However, some of it, he's really making a point, and it's very, very interesting to hear how he speaks. He's actually an amazing actor. This week, I read an article written in 2019 by Arnold Eisen, PhD, who is the former chancellor and president of the faculties of the Jewish Theological Seminary in America. That's the conservative seminary. It is entitled Making Sense of Anti-Semitism. And in it, Dr. Eisen discusses various roots of anti-Semitism, including religious, economic, and political stereotypes and prejudices, and that the ways that we respond should address these core issues. He also describes in beautiful verbiage the third of these ADL's 3 ways that they suggest we respond to the rise in anti-Semitism today, which is with our strength. So I'd like to share with you a short excerpt from Dr. Eisen's words in his article, because it is just so eloquent that I found it just speaks for itself rather than me trying to paraphrase it. So Dr. Eisen states, "We must do our best to make sure that Jews do not run from Jewish commitment or seek to hide their Jewishness, lest they be marked literally or figuratively with the yellow star, or identified with the God of the Old Testament, or vilified for their loyalty to Judaism or to God. By the same token, we should not allow Judaism to be regarded merely as a way to foil the anti-Semites. Emil Fackenheim, one of the best-known Jewish theologians of the previous generation, famously posited that Jews are bound by a 614th commandment, not to grant Hitler posthumous victories by giving up Jewish faith or affiliation. I recognize the emotional power of that notion, but believe it is ultimately destructive. Jews should not choose Judaism in order to defeat the enemies of Judaism or the Jewish people. Anti-Semitism must not stand at the center of Jewish belief and practice. That stance will quickly prove ineffective. He continues, Jews should take hold of Torah and hold on to it for dear life, because the Torah teaches a profound and joyful path through life, a proven source of community and meaning, a path of great wisdom that has made and continues to make everlasting contributions to the world. That is why Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people, lives, where other nations and civilizations of the past do not, and will be around for a long time to come. The conclusion of the article reads, "It's an incredible privilege and blessing to live as a Jew, and particularly to do so in America, the greatest diaspora Jews have ever known, alongside the Jewish state, amazingly revived in the land of Israel. There is so much to celebrate, so many reasons for pride, so much joy and meaning to be had in Jewish life, all of which constitute the strongest defense against anti-Semites that we can deploy." This Shabbat following Yom HaShoah, let us celebrate our Jewish identity and heritage. And let's bond with Jews of every land of nation, of every denomination and movement, and realize the vision that Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Bazeh, all Jews are responsible for one another. In this way, we can shield ourselves and one another from detractors and bullies. May we be the light unto the nations of Isaiah's vision, forcing evil from the shadows and banishing the darkness surrounding us. Shabbat Shalom. And now we have some announcements of our sponsors.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone here in our sanctuary, all the many of you. And to those of you watching from home, dry. I'm Betty Adams, co-president of Temple Sinai, along with Lynn Weinstein. Thank you, Rabbi Aviva, for a beautiful service, and Dr. Dave McFarland for your beautiful music. And we'd like to thank the following sponsors. Our Shabbat services are sponsored by Marcia Weber in memory of Jacob Geschwind, Harriet Stein and Samuel Shapiro in memory of Harriet's husband, Marty Stein, and Samuel's wife, Carol Shapiro. Donna and Larry Lopater in honor of their 60th wedding anniversary. And the following donations to the community food pantries are sponsored by Zena Wagner and family in memory of her son, Alan Wagner, Janet and Sheldon Thaler in memory of Janet's father, Leon Levy, Marcia Weber in memory of Jacob Geschwind, Bill Lazarus in memory of his father, Leo Lazarus, and Donna and Larry Lopater in honor of their 60th wedding anniversary. Oneg sponsorships tonight, Rosa Gill Miller and Nels Miller in honor of Rosa's birthday, Judy and Dick Herman in honor of Dick's birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday. And our Saturday, April 30th Shabbat Torah study is sponsored by Rhoda and Shelda Roka in memory of Rhoda's sister Thelma Greenwald and Donna and Larry Lopater in honor of their 60th wedding anniversary. And some brief announcements. Well, first of all, in relation to the rabbi's words tonight, our Yom HaShoah event last Wednesday, 2 days ago, wow. One of the things that happened was the mayor of the city of Delray Beach and a commissioner presented a resolution that was passed by the city of Delray Beach, which defined anti-Semitism. It's 4 pages long, don't worry, I won't read it. But it is framed on one of those easels back there, and I encourage you to go and take a look at it because it's pretty remarkable. Delray Beach is working with us as a community to obliterate anti-Semitism the best we can. And now for some fun. Well, it's time to get your jewels and ads in for the Directory Journal. Please finalize and turn them in this coming week if you possibly can. And did you know that we have a very special offer for business advertisers? Any business, doctor, dentist, etc., that places a full-page ad in the directory will get 3 insertions of an ad in our bi-monthly digital newsletter, The Tablet. That's no charge. For more information, for your favorite businesses, please call 561-276-6161, extension 128. This is obviously for the people that are watching. I don't expect any of you to write this down. And of course, Havdeli is next Saturday night. The deadline to sign up is next Thursday, May 5th. Scrumptious deli sandwiches and the trimmings and desserts and a really fun movie called Tango Shalom. Shalom Tango, I always forget, but it's probably you've never seen it, and it's good. I know it's good. And of course, Havdalah, that's part of the evening. Forms are in the lobby, or you can call 561-276-6161, extension 124, and sign up. And don't forget Saturday morning services, tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the sanctuary and virtually, and Torah study on Zoom at 12:30. And I think I covered it all. Shabbat Shalom.
Just one thing about Torah study tomorrow. Because we are progressive Jews, we have options. And both tomorrow and next week on Shabbat afternoon, we will be studying Kedoshim, powerful part of our Torah, and we decided it was worth 2 weeks of study.
Great. So before we continue with our Aleinu, we actually have 2 ritual announcements, each of which requires standing. So I'm going to ask you to stand now, and we'll just stand all the way through the Aleinu. The first of which is actually the announcement for Rosh Chodesh. It seems like just yesterday we were announcing Rosh Chodesh Nisan, but now we are announcing a new Rosh Chodesh for this week. So that is on page 519. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba, l'tova v'livracha, ve'titen lanu chaim arukim, chaim shel shalom, chaim shel parnasah, chaim shetehevanu, ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim, chaim sheyimalu mishalot libenu l'tova. Amen. Please join me in reading. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring for us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Iyar Yiyeh Bayom Rishon. The new month of Iyar will begin on Sunday. And now we are going to count the Omer, because we are counting. Remember, we are counting between Pesach and Shavuot. And we count 7 weeks of 7. And each of those days has a special Kabbalistic message or instruction that we can take for ourselves. So yesterday, I will say, until sunset was day 13. So you can figure out what I'm about to say when I count the Omer after we say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer hayom shnei shavuot la'omer. Today is 14 days, which are 2 weeks of the Omer. And today is Malchut Shebigvura. So this week was about Gevura, which is strength and also boundaries. Or it also can mean judgment. So judgment, discernment, strength, boundaries, all of those are wrapped up in the idea of Gevura, which was this week. And this is Malchut, which is the very bottom of the spherotic chart that I showed you. Malchut is the realm of the Shekhinah, the feminine presence of the divine that is closest to us. So whatever that means to you, you can find online many different interpretations if you want to read meditations about them. I won't read them now, but it is Malchut Shebigvura. Okay, and so now with that in mind, we open the Ark for the Aleinu prayer, page 586.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchel kenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום Please take a seat. One more announcement is that next Friday night we will be observing Yom HaAtzmaut, Israeli Independence Day. They're always 1 week apart from one another so that we can move from the sorrow to Hatikva, the hope. So, okay. And now for another somber moment as our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this time, we recall those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing, occur at this time in years past, and whose names are illuminated on the plaques surrounding our sanctuary. Dorothy Appel, Renee Axelrod, Rose Lustig Cohen, Martin J. Elias, Albert Faber, Clara Hilt family, Edward Hilt family, Anne Friedman, Milton N. Hoffman, Jean Menon, Alan Resnick, DDS, David Sachs, Louis Satuloff, Morris Schlein, Miriam W. Siegel, Larry Solomon, Dr. Harold Soref, Ethel Onegman Stroom, and Alan H. Wagner. Others recalled at this time: Isaac Cohen, Jacob Geschwind, Jack Grebler, Dorothy Green, Thelma Greenwald, Dr. Maria Ince, Richard Kahan, Nettie Coton, Leo Lazarus, Louis Lehner, Leon Levy, Charles Nadell, Louis Silverberg, and Mildred Wallowitz. We recall with sadness the more recent passings in the Shloshim period, the 30 days since their funerals, of Sam Buchholz Jr., Simone Tenser, Esther Weinberg, and Dr. Eugene Senal. If you are recalling someone whom I have not named as I gesture around the room, please raise your hand and we'll say the name now. And those who are davening with us on the internet, please say the names of those you are thinking of as well. As we rise in solidarity with mourners everywhere and for all of the victims of the Shoah. As we turn to page 598 and recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divarach Chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon Uvachayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulal me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal. Shemei d'kudusha brichu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shalom maraba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn among us. And let us all say, Amen. Please take a seat as we conclude with our closing song, Ein Kelohenu, which is, I don't know, somewhere around 625, 626, somewhere around, yeah, 626. 626, Ein Kelohenu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemokenu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Chemokenu, Mi Chemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emokenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Mokenu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Mokenu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, one more thing. Let us make motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon, please enjoy our oneg. Good. Thank you. Well, the most important thing is pikuach nefesh, the saving of a life. And since we don't want to keep them burning all night long, I would say go ahead.
Let them stay
They can stay
until
until
the oneg's over.
Let's stay.
Yeah, until the oneg's over.
Mhm.